The city was drowning in fear. 23 bodies, 23 warnings, and now, Holloway, one of their own, had been found mutilated, but alive. A man who had once spoken with authority, now reduced to permanent silence. The blood ledger wasn't slowing down. If anything, the message was clear. They were just getting started. A target well deserved. Detective Sarah Vance sat at her desk, staring at the latest note, delivered the same way as the others. No fingerprints, no evidence, just a name written in blood. The 24th laughed at the suffering of others. Vance didn't have to dig deep to find a match. Derek Kessler, a former talk show host, now an internet shock jock, famous for his brutal, humiliating interviews. He had made a career out of mocking the vulnerable, exposing people's darkest secrets, ruining lives for entertainment. He didn't care who he hurt so long as the views kept coming. And now, someone had decided it was his turn to be the punchline. A show no one would forget. Kessler had always loved attention, so when an anonymous guest invited him to a special, unfiltered interview, he couldn't resist. The offer had come with a hefty payout. No crew, no audience, just one-on-one, raw honesty. Perfect. He arrived at the private studio just before midnight, eager to uncover what he assumed would be some celebrity scandal. But when he stepped inside, the door slammed shut behind him, the lights flickered on, and he saw it. A stage of suffering. The studio was empty except for one thing. A single chair, positioned in front of a camera. Strapped to the chair was a mannequin, dressed exactly like him. It had a grotesque smile carved into its face, wide and unnatural. In its hands was a script. The title sent ice through Kessler's veins. Your own words. A voice crackled through unseen speakers. Low, cold. You love laughing at pain, don't you, Derek? Kessler turned to run, but something slammed into his skull, and the world went dark. The final episode. He woke up tied to the chair, gagged, blinded by bright studio lights. And then, he heard it. The sound of laughter, not his, but his own voice played back from past interviews. Every cruel remark, every moment he had humiliated a guest, every tear he had mocked, it played on a loop. And then, the voice returned. Let's see how funny you are now. Something cold and sharp pressed against his face, and Kessler screamed. The next morning, they found him still in the chair, strapped in place. His face was mutilated, carved into an unnatural, bloody grin. His lips slashed open, from ear to ear, his vocal cords severed, ensuring he would never laugh again. And in front of him, a camera, still rolling, still live streaming, broadcasting his final punishment to the very audience he had once entertained. And written across the screen, in bold red letters, he laughed at suffering. Now, he only smiles. To be Con.